Today I'm going to continue talking about how our body is communicating with us and in different ways. So I have 4 more today that I'm going to cover. And the ones that I'm going to cover today is your gut reaction, gut instinct. And when you get chills or shivers when someone is saying something to you, and then as well, how to ask your body questions, like how to get guidance from an internal knowing. And then the last one today is going to be nonverbal communication. So I'll just kind of touch on each of these, and I'll have another video with 4 more ways that will cover how your body is communicating in different ways. And each one I feel is maybe getting deeper into levels that it's like, oh, I haven't really thought about this stuff, or not really sure I've even heard of this. So anyway, so today I'll start with the gut instinct. And the gut instinct, many times when like you're out and about, I'll share a story. Like I was living in Brooklyn and I always knew if other people were around, I felt safe. It was when I was all by myself walking down the street that I would start to be like, I don't know how I feel about this. Well, one day I was going to a park that was on the river, and as I was walking over there, I had to go through kind of warehouses or like an industrial area of town. And the main street, I was walking on the main street and there's plenty of people there, but then as I got off, there was no people on these side streets in the warehouse areas. And I'm walking along and this white van pulls up right in front of me and parks there in front of me. I'm the only person on this street and this van pulls up. In that instant, I was like, what? You know, like, I don't know how I feel about this. So I turned around and I walked back to that main street that was, filled with people. I was like, I'm not continuing walking down the street. And another way that I have listened to my gut or my instinct over the years, not only in situations where I'm out and about traveling or, a situation like that in Brooklyn, I also have noticed over the years when I have to make big life changes, like I often have moved from place to place around the world or to new homes, and I sit down and I make a list of, oh, here's the pros of this place, here's the pros of this place, this is what I feel. But in the end, even if one place way outweighs the other one, that instinct in me that's kind of like, but I want this one, will kind of pipe up in that moment, and I'll feel it and be like, oh, actually that's what I want. Maybe it doesn't have all the pros or, the things that are positive, but I really want that one. And I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work no matter what, So I listen to that gut instinct, and over the years, that instinct has taken me to all of the right places that I wanted for me. Now, it might not be right for other people, but it was right for me. So listening to that voice, I say that voice, that instinct, that is like, there's like an urge or a want or a, something that comes up that's like, this is actually what I really want. That said, many people have learned over the years to suppress that voice. And an example of suppressing it is like as a young girl when it's like, oh, you need to hug your uncle. And it's like, I don't want to, this feeling of I don't want to, but we were trained to, be nice girls. So you need to do that, and so there might be this weird, creepy vibe in you that's coming up, but you're like, oh, I can't listen to that creepy vibe in me. I actually have to do this to meet other people's needs. Thankfully, that was not form in my case, but there are people that have had to go and have had to kind of suppress that inner voice. So if you are one of those people that has had to suppress that inner voice, then start to become aware that you have in the past had to suppress it. But now you're no longer that little girl or little boy, and you don't have to meet other people's needs in that way. And if you do notice this guy feels creepy, listen to it. rather than being like, oh, no, no, that's okay. I don't need to listen to this feeling in me. It's like start to notice and become aware that there is this other thing in you that's coming up that has an internal knowing of maybe something's not quite right. So the next one is about getting chills or these shivers or goosebumps. And this one, I've been noticing more and more people are picking up on this as we energetically shift on the planet. People are becoming more and more aware and tapping into this. And the shivers is just a truth. It's like someone says something and it's like, ooh, I just got shivers, and it's just giving you an awareness that this actually feels really right. And you can even say it in yourself that it's like, oh, I just said something and I got shivers. It's kind of giving you another awareness of, yes, this is your truth. This is right for you. You can also, if you believe in having spirits and guides around you, you can also sometimes feel shivers when you have the presence of them around you. And the third one is asking your body questions. So there's a few different techniques that you can ask your body questions, and one of them is just even saying, what do you need? What, like asking your body. Like you can go connect your heart, visualize, I'm connecting to my heart. What do you need? And just asking it, or what do you want to say? When you are sad or when you are frustrated, it's, of course, you're really in the heat of it, but at a certain point, you can even go, oh, body, what is it you're frustrated about? What is it you're sad about? What do you want to say? Because it gives an inner knowing or a depth to it that our mind doesn't quite have. And I really have the birds. Really squeaky birds right now. Squawking birds. So another way of asking your body questions is like, is this right for me? So you can do a couple of tests. Like one technique that I've used is like I've gotten items at a store and I hold them in my hand and I'm like, is it this one or this one? Which one feels right? And I'll just kind of get an instant feeling somewhere of like, this one does feel right. I feel something maybe in my heart or just a knowingness in it that it's like, oh, this item is what I need. You can also do when we're standing, and if it's yes, you might lean forward, or if it's no, you might lean back, and you can hold the object too and be like, does my body need this? Maybe it's like questioning, do I need certain vitamins? And you can hold it and go forward or back, or like your body will start to let you know what it needs, and it's kind of weird, but it does. Oh, look at all those birds squawking in the background. Anyway, the body does communicate in certain ways with us. And the last one for today is talking about nonverbal communication. And I wanted to add this onto the list because we all automatically do it. And it's probably things that we have learned as we've grown up of like, oh, this gesture, means this, or like certain gestures of waving. Or like I can give an example of thank you, like I just wave at, like as I'm crossing the street, I'll wave and say thank you. And yet in Mexico, they, put their hand this way. So it's like to say thank you. So we learn slightly different ways of, like saying thank you. And for them, it's like grabbing the hat, tapping the hat to say thank you. But these gestures we automatically do sometimes. And things like, if I think about if I'm questioning something, I might, put up the eyebrow like, really? I don't know about that, or if I shrug my shoulders, I'm like, whatever, and I might even say something like that, like, whatever, and it just comes across that way. but we all read it and we all know certain signals or certain things that come across. And of course, again, culturally, we're going to have maybe slightly different things that we've learned in different ways, but there is still an underline of we all have similar things, especially with our facials, like we all smile, we all cry, we all, have these similar patterns that we do with our face. And so people will pick up on these things, and as you start to notice not only what you do but what others do, you're starting to realize there's another language there that you are communicating with that's not just verbally or in our mind. It's like our body is just doing it. And that's where they have all these, things about telling if people are lying or not, because your body is just doing it versus you kind of going, oh no, I'm not saying that actually, and your body's like, yeah. So again, it's a whole nother language. And our bodies, like as you start to just notice it in yourself, you can start to see some of your patterns and how you go about in the world. So again, today, these are just 4 more ways that our body is communicating and talking with us, and ways we can talk with it or communicate with it. And it's not always just a verbal language that we're using. It's a felt sense or a, feeling inside of what is coming across. And sometimes too, like earlier when I mentioned, when I ask questions of my body, I'll be like, oh, what do you need? And I'll hear words or I'll hear things, but that's how I hear things. And all those birds. And your body might actually give you feelings or sensations, and start to learn how your body is communicating with you or how it is talking with you. So tomorrow I'll do another video with 4 more of ways that our body is communicating with us, and just start to notice in yourself, start to become aware, of these different ways, and you can play with it. It's so much fun to start to listen and hear and talk with and communicate, and it does start to get you more in the world, more present and more being in the world and noticing who you are in the world. So I am AmyC with You Finding You. I'm an intuitive and transformational coach, and I help you step into your authenticity, like really who you want to be in the world, and in ways of connecting with our body, but also our beliefs, like what are our beliefs about ourselves and others and the world around us. So in the dialog box below, you'll see that I have journeys that help you step into your worth. It's guided visualizations that you can follow along like a meditation. Feel free to grab that up. As well, if you're enjoying and getting value out of this series, do hit that like, share, and subscribe button below. And I'll see you in the next video.